I'm Reagan Tunstall, and today we are going to cover that very first guided math lesson. Whether you're kinder all the way up to 5th, what I'm going to talk about today is how do I balance the beginning of the school year with teaching guided math and implementing a whole new structure. So I'm going to break this up, K to 2 and 3 to 5, and I think that even if you're not planning to start on day 1, you can gain some procedures that are going to help set you up for success, that you could start on the very first day. The way that we start a guided math lesson is with a math warm-up, and that goes for the very first day of school. A math warm-up is a number talk. A number talk is a meeting of the math minds where students can share how they're thinking through or processing through a problem. So it's all about conceptualizing together, it's all about reasoning through, sharing strategies and steps for problem solving. But on day 1, I'm really going to show you how I keep it so simple. And I'm also just kind of inviting them to share anything that goes into their mind. So let's start at the beginning. So here's an example of something I might do. It's Thursday today, so I'm just showing you Thursdays. This is actually something I would project. I have these digitally for the whole year, but I'm holding them up for you since we are not in front of a big screen. So for kinder, even first, I might do subitizing, and I would just say things along the lines of, wow, let's take a look at this. This says subitize the dots. Tell how you found the total. And I wouldn't get bogged down with what is subitizing, all of that. I'm just keeping it simple. So I will let the students just start sharing organically, what does your brain see? What do you think about that? And just having an informal conversation about these different prompts. This one is, what shapes do you need to make this picture? And whether they are K, 1, 2, anyone who's going to see this, and I hope you can see it too, there's a dotted figure in the middle here. They will want to, oh, I know. And so you're just listening, seeing if they can name the shapes correctly and so on, but really just getting them excited about math, honestly. 2nd grade, how can you combine this shape to make a circle? How many pieces would you need to make 4 circles? Here's another one I might do. 2nd grade, even moving into 3rd grade. There are 6 cats on the bench. How many paws altogether? So talking through that, working that out. Here's a thoughtful Thursday. It's a word problem. And this is moving into 3rd and 4th grade, what I might project for them. And we're just going to talk through it, reason through it. And then moving up to 4th and 5th, Thoughtful Thursday, and in this one we are working with money and decimals. Just relating with students and their interests, and something is going to get them excited and thinking mathematically together as a class. Once we have finished our number talk, we are going to do a little resetting of the attention span clock. So I might do something like, let's say for K to 2, I might do some sort of skip counting. So turn to your partner, count up to 10, then count down from 10, something. Anything I know that they're familiar with from the year before. Kindergarten, we are not going to be counting. So we might be doing something like mirror, mirror. So students, I am your mirror. You're going to copy what I'm doing. And so just some sort of movement where students have to reset their wiggles and attention span. And so this is where we're going to dive into guided math. First of all, it doesn't matter if you're K up to 5. I've got 9 units that you can choose from to pull a lesson. So if you're kinder, but you like to start with geometry, but that's unit 5, you can totally start with unit 5. For today, I'm going to model the first unit in K1 and 2, but you do not have to do unit 1 at all. And you can take tips and tricks from this and make your own idea. So please don't feel like it has to be a particular unit or a particular lesson that you have to do. The goal of today is to put a tiny bit of math in their brains and get some routines established. So, looking at a lesson plan in guided math, this is the kindergarten lesson plan. They all follow the same structure though. My mini lesson is here. And I have a very short amount of time with my students and their short attention spans. It is day one and we have so many little things that we're gonna be doing today. I don't want to dwell too long in a mini lesson. So for kinder, I am going to choose to do the bean book. This is lesson 1, and I would have a bag of beans, actual beans, and we would just simply do a math read aloud together. And this is focusing on the numbers 0 to 5. However, it's okay if your students are not familiar yet. You can choose to do a different read aloud. You can choose to do a favorite read aloud, but because it's day one, you're probably doing read alouds. And I would imagine you might want to mix it up with something different. Now, for first and second grade, your mini lesson is similar, not exactly the same, but similar. It's the how do you go home from school graph. And this is introducing the bar graph. And then it's also helpful for you because you can check and make sure you have exactly what they think that they are doing for going home. So introducing a bar graph, and on the pocket chart, just graphing how will we go home today. The difference in first and second there is what you do with it. So the complexity of the questions and what students do with that information. Now, with kinder, first and second, both of these lesson plans, all of these lesson plans flow down into a small group lesson with differentiation. It's day one of school, okay? I don't have a small group. I'm not gonna have a small group for a while because I'm still establishing everything, all of my routines and procedures. So I don't teach that small group. However, I glance through it and I look to see, is there something I can use from that in this mini lesson that we're doing, or are we done? Are our attention spans over? So in kindergarten, students would have been doing having a 5 frame, and then you can choose, I like to actually use the real beans on the 5 frame, or you can get bean manipulatives like the 2-sided kidney beans. I truly do like the real beans. So in the small group lesson for kinder, they would have been working with a 5 frame and working with beans. Now, depending on how they're doing with their attention span, I could go back through the book and then we could build and say these numbers, maybe under the document camera as we read, or I can choose not to do that. Another part of the lesson for kindergarten is an abstract counting bean worksheet. There's no way this is getting done, guys. This is day one. And honestly, these are the things that I love to save. Save them for a station, save them for a sub day. Do not feel pressure that you're gonna get all this stuff done on day one. It's there. Every lesson for the whole year, K to 5, has all of these different materials, but do not feel pressure. Go with what you're seeing in the kids and what's most appropriate for what they need. Okay, now first and second grade, you have a similar, not exactly the same, but a similar small group activity where students are pulling color tiles from a bag and then writing the names of those colors and graphing the colors they pull, then answering questions. Now they're similar but not the same, first and second. I probably am not going to do that either. I am going to save it though, and it would be great to incorporate it later in this week or as a station or something we do later in the day if we have some extra time. It's there if you need it. But I really want to keep this mini because it's the first day and I want to actually get them used to some different things that I'm about to share. Now, third, fourth, and fifth. Your mini lesson is like, third, fourth, and fifth, I start the standards day 2 of school. Day 2 feels very normal and we never stop, right? But on day 1, one difference is that I don't jump into a full-blown content lesson. What I do is it's more of a supplies and we're getting ready kind of lesson. And because I do use a math journal for note-taking in the upper grades during guided math lessons, once, maybe twice a week, we get our math journals ready and we use that as our first mini lesson. So I talk about the journal, they put their labels and their names on it, and then they do a goal setting activity. So it can be whatever you want it to be. Typically I do something like something I'm good at with math, something I want to be better at, you know, some sort of goal setting. You can decide what you would want them to do or say with that. Some teachers on my team have done like where they show problems they can do. It's completely open-ended and up to you. You can have sample problems up for students who are stuck or don't know what to write. But I just do goal setting. So something I know I'm good at with math, something I wish I was better at. And then that's really their whole mini lesson, is getting their supplies ready for math. We also have a math folder. So just doing labels and things like that older kids can do and will feel ownership doing. Okay, so at this point I've done a number talk and I've done a short mini lesson. Depending on my grade level, it depends what it looks like. So now I don't have a small group, I don't have independent workstations, so there's extra time left here where we're going to practice something related to launching guided math. So for that, I then switch to the How to Launch Guided Math Guide. Doesn't matter what grade I am, and this is actually an old cover. My new covers are packed and ready to go to a conference. So this is an older version, it's been updated, but it's the same basic content. So halfway through this book, you'll find 20 lesson plans for launching guided math. And each day, I teach my mini lesson, incorporate whatever small group component I want, or save that small group for another time. And then I turn to the launch guide to do the rest of my lesson and spend the rest of my time. These are so short, okay? You're not gonna be worrying that it's a long drawn out lesson. It's something like teaching a signal and having them respond appropriately, teaching a volume level, how to take materials out of a bucket and put them back, or not necessarily a bucket, but whatever you're gonna use for materials. So they're very short, little lessons, especially that first week. I want to share what the first week looks like in the launch guide for K-2 and then for 3 to 5. So day 1, establishing a signal and getting the correct response from it. And what I can say about that is that you're going to be just sergeant strict, okay? If you make a big deal out of this, then they will make a big deal out of it. And it has to start day 1. Like, when I introduce this, I'm dead serious. This is how it is. And if you don't get that desired response, what I do is just say, I'm so sorry, you know, I had all these fun things we were gonna do, but we're not gonna be able to. It's just such a big deal. And then they, oh, okay, I can do this. So you explain that this is all about awesome privileges, but man, the expectation's really high to get to do these privileges. So just taking it from that kind of place. So for K-2, I have however many table groups my students sit at in our class. That's how many buckets I have. And in each bucket, I have dumped one type of manipulative. So it depends on my grade level what my manipulatives are, but I'm choosing manipulatives that students will be using this year. And you know, it just depends on your grade level and what you want them exploring. So that whole first week, 5 days, and it's okay if you start school on a Wednesday, just keep it going through that next week. I'll put a bucket on their table. what I'm watching for 5 days is, do I respond to a signal? Do I handle materials correctly? What about my volume? Is my volume right? And I'm providing constant feedback. So if someone is not meeting that expectation, the signal is done and we come back and we, oh my goodness, we were doing such a great job, and we tell them all those great things, and then we say, we didn't meet expectations on this. Can we fix this? Would you like to try again? Okay. And so it's just, but you know, within reason, it's the first couple of days of school. So for that week, each day they get about 15 minutes with a different tub, and I take the tub to them. They are not moving yet. It is very controlled. Now, 3 through 5. We are not worrying about the manipulative exploration anymore. So we actually start with partner play. So I will play a game with them under the document camera, and I just made one game called Roll for Place Value. And you could do this 3 to 5. It doesn't necessarily have to be just 3rd grade, but you decide how many rolls of the die they will do, which will establish how large your number is, how many places, and then you give them an objective. So this is a partner game. We are trying to build the smallest number or the largest number. You're gonna roll the die 6 times. You'll get a 6-digit number. It will go to the 100,000s, and then you say, okay, you're gonna get 7 chances, 3 on the front, 4 on the back. And so the person who had the highest number, 4 out of 7 times is the winner, or majority of the times. So they would roll the die, and then you choose what you want them to do with it. You're gonna build it with base 10 blocks, or you're gonna write it in expanded form, or maybe it's just simply, I'm building a number and that's as much as I can handle. It's day 1. So you choose, but you're teaching how to start a game without fighting, how to win without bragging, how to lose without pouting. You're teaching gameplay that whole first week. So they can play this game so many different ways. It's why I choose it. But you can choose any tried and true fun. You can do the cards where it's like addition war, multiplication war, that kind of thing. I like to choose easy review kind of games because it's not so much about the game, it's about the partner play expectation. So we do that whole first week, 3 to 5. Now, 2nd week, okay, I'm still doing that same format where I'm teaching the mini lesson and incorporating small group as much as I can. 3rd through 5th, I'm basically already kind of running my regular math block. And you're going to be noticing that you're flying through the launch guide. So you're combining days together because your students are able to do more and more quickly. So you will find that on week 2, you're already modeling different stations. So you're going to jump to that in the guide. This is how we do a math journal station. This is how we do a partner game station. This is how we go to technology. So you're on week 2, you're already modeling stations, whatever you want your stations to be, and you are preparing for that 3rd week to be your first time to actually pull a small group and have students go out. Okay, but for K-2, it's a whole different world. So K-2, we practice for a week just exploring manipulatives, volume, signal, and meeting expectations with handling those, making sure I'm taken care of, but also that my partner is taken care of, just being a decent human being. Okay, so week 2, that's when we're going to work on partner play, which is a lot like what we did with 3rd, learning how to play a game, learning how to be a good partner, learning how to get your partner's needs met, how to get your needs met, how everyone can play. And it's a lot of fun if we do it correctly. So week 2 is stamina and partner play with K-2, and you'll see that in the guide. And then week 3 and 4, we begin practicing stations. And when we practice, let's say we're practicing a math journal. I'm gonna go get one. Okay, let's say we're all practicing math journal together. In kindergarten, this is, don't even listen, this is something you're gonna do whole group a lot longer than 1 and 2. What I'm doing is I may cut it and they are just practicing gluing. I may cut it and they're practicing folding. And so we're doing this, we're practicing it by doing it whole group. And then I'll say, okay, you're gonna go to your desks and do the last one by yourself. And we're gonna imagine that you're going to a workstation. So we're gonna model how we would go to the workstation. And so it's all of that build up. So we practice it whole group, but we're essentially doing the stations as a big group. All right, so that's how we move from day 1 and get ourselves launched. This is a free download. I should have mentioned that a while ago. I'm sorry if it's hard to see. It's called How to Launch Guided Math, and I will link that below. I'm also going to link the digital warm-ups that I showed at the beginning, some free partner play games so that you have something to practice with. Also, there's free partner play games in here, so you can use those K to 5. And please leave any questions for me on any of this, and I will be happy to get back to you. Good luck on your first day of guided math. You're going to do amazing. Just trust your instincts. See you next time.